Hola and welcome to round 19 of the GP4 Offline Championship 2017 season. We're here in Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico. So welcome to the final North American race of the 2017 season, and a race where the title could possibly, and it's a key word there, possibly be decided today. And obviously Will Neller, having won the last round in USA in fortuitous circumstances, you have to say, could win the title here, but he needs a lot of luck to do so, and so far it's in his favour, with him winning one of the two races being held here in Mexico, with Florian Volker winning the other race back in 2015. So Mexico City definitely got one of the longest straights on the circuit, a number of overtaking opportunities. It's a short track as well, 71 laps, a circuit length of 4.304 kilometres, 17 corners, lap record being set by Jamie Mackenzie back in 2015, the first ever race, a 1:17.622. So that is the information about the track, and the tyres we'll be using for this race will be the ultra soft tyres, the pink tyres, or the purple tyres I should say. And the driver of the day from last time out in the USA was Michael Mocho for a very impressive 4th place finish, and I have to say that is probably pretty well deserved for Michael Mocho, as he's still in contention for trying to get a drive for next season. But anyway, here is the starting grid for the Mexico Grand Prix, and Will Neller, so far it's a good start for him, on pole position ahead of Amar Carr in second. On row 2 of the grid we have Joseph Willows and Florian Volker. On row 3 of the grid we have Jamie Mackenzie and Oliver Glazebrook. A fantastic performance in qualifying by Oliver Glazebrook, it has to be said as well. An unbelievable performance by the Brit. Franco Lopez in 7th position with Rick Gann alongside him in 8th, the two Force Indias on row 4 of the grid. On row 5 of the grid we have Roland Moyton for Williams and Joel Hutter for Haas. Hutter, who's one of the drivers who's still yet to have a seat for next season, and certainly won't be at Haas, as he's not been confirmed there. Thierry now turned to 11th, with Julius Anderson 12th. As I said, Joel Hutter won't be racing for Haas next season, is what I mean to say. Franco Gamba 13th and Michael Mocho 14th, but of course Michael Mocho qualified 20th in USA, and look where he finished. After that. Felix Sontag in 15th with Nicolas Gauss 16th, but it should be explained as well that in Q1 it was wet conditions, so that's the reason why you may see a number of high-profile drivers down there. Roberto Gamba 17th and Evan 18th. Paulino Tomaselli 19th and Nicolas Zorbach 20th for Mana. And on the last row of the grid, 21st and 22nd position, Etienne Jones 21st, and George Roque surprisingly for Haas in last position in 22nd. That's certainly not the qualifying points he would have wanted. Team news for this week is that Enis Parachi will be promoted to the top class to drive for Toro Rosso, so the first ever North Macedonian driver in the top 10 of the OC, so congratulations to him. And here is the championship criteria for Will Neller to win here in Mexico. So if he wins, he needs Mackenzie to finish 7th, Willis to finish 5th, and Volker to finish 3rd to win the title. And the second obviously was on your screen right there. And weather-wise for this race, it will be wet all round. 88% chance of rain, high cloud, and a lot of rain. So here we go. This is going to be fascinating indeed to see what happens here in Mexico. You can see the cars lining up. Will Neller in first, Amar Carr in second. Will Neller so far looks to have a lot of fuel in his car as the 5 lights now come on. And we're off! And Will Neller doesn't make... Well, does he make a good start? I don't know, but the Ferrari behind's made an unbelievable start. Look at the start from Joseph Williams, and he's going to overtake Neller. He's got past Carr already, and he's side by side. Carr's got a dreadful start. Look at how far he's dropped down the order. He dropped almost nearly out of the top 10, almost. Jesus Christ. But Willows, what a start from him. He takes the lead from Neller. That's exactly what he needs if he wants to remain in this title race. Mackenzie just behind him in second, and there's a major collision. There's a major pile-up at the first corner there, and the Force India of Jan is blocking any cars, like the Mexico City traffic on the roads. He's blocking traffic from going through there, and actually got away, I think, without any damage. So what a start to this race this has been, as all the cars skate their way through. And have all the cars got away with damage? I'm not sure. Mocho I don't think has got damage, and I think that was Felix Sontag has got damage as well, as the cars head towards the end of the first sector. So let's have a look at what happened with Rick Gann. So he was behind obviously the McLaren of Glazebrook, getting a slow start of the line on the wet tyres. Of course there's two forms of tyres in this, the wet tyres and the extreme wet tyres, and he got hit from the side there. So Jan just trying to make his way through, nearly goes into the back of Carr there, who made a dreadful start. It looked like he got away off the line, but he just got absolutely mugged by everybody. And then heading towards the first corner, what happened to Jan? He must have got hit from behind, and yes he did. He gets hit from behind by the Williams, but I think the Toro Rosso may have had something to do with it there. Let's have a look on board with Moyton. I'm pretty sure he got hit from behind by the Toro Rosso. And no, actually I don't think he did. I don't think there was actually any contact there at all. But here's now Tiraden almost going into the back of Moyton there, heading towards the first corner. So looking from this, and oh, now Tiranen Oh dear, now Tiernan, his disastrous luck continues. He goes into the back of another car, he spins, and he loses his front wing. So he has to pit once again. Here we are looking on board with Michael Mocho, who got damage as well at the first corner. So let's see how he did that. Did he go into the back of his own teammate? And he did. He actually went into he got knocked actually from behind by Sontag, so that explains why Sontag lost his front wing as well. And actually Franco Gamba, very lucky not to have any damage either. So let's have a look on board with Julius Anderson. I don't know if I guess we're going to see maybe him making a great start or seeing the chaos in front of him. So it's alongside Hutter, he gets past him, or does he? No, he does not quite. And there's another car just about trying to squeeze his way through there, and Anderson goes down the inside, and there was the contact there with Moichin and the Force India there, and Anderson just about squeezes through it, so he manages to gain a few positions from that. So let's have a look at Car. He really didn't make a bad start, Car, but as he heads up, now the Ferrari just getting through there just absolutely spooked him, and that really put him off and lost him so much speed, and particularly down this long front straight. As we see Glazebrook going around the inside there, and Car losing another position to Volker there as well, so that Willow's spooking him out there, coming towards the first corner. So Car not the start that he would have wanted, and Car who's still in with a small possibility of winning the championship. Here we are looking at Roberto Gamba in the McLaren here. Right behind this is Sontag as they're coming through the S's for the first time. And he goes into like a Sontag. Oh, and he spins. I don't know if he got hit from behind by Etienne Jones. He might have done. And the answer is, he hit him behind, and then no, I think he just spun off himself. I thought Jones spun off there from the way, but I think it was the debris that caused him to go off there. But what a chaotic start here in Mexico. Now here is Franco Lopez in the pits already, and I'm pretty sure did he have any? No, he had damage, didn't he, on the first lap? Of course he did. So he changes on to, I think, still the same tyre. No, I think they're the extreme wets because they were a little bit darker. So I think that is the extreme wets that he's on, as the rest of the cars head through. So Willows, what a start for him, taking the lead from Will Neller in second place, who's got his teammate Mackenzie, who is also still in the title fight, in third, right behind him. So here we go. Get your popcorn out ready to see what is going to happen as they come towards. They will come across the front straight, and there's Michael Mocho, who is that smoke? I think from behind his car. I believe it is. Yep, I think there's smoke there. So for Michael Mocho, his day is done and dusted, I believe. And you can see the red thing, and yep, he's going. Yep, he's got an engine problem, so that is his race over. Michael Mocho's race is done, and what a disastrous race! It all goes from bad to worse for him. I mean, he had such a good race in the USA, finished fourth, an unbelievable performance by him, and unfortunately now he's going to get no points. So what a disaster for Michael Mocho. He's eventually going to have to pull off the track due to his engine problem. Although, because obviously he's got the lap traffic coming from behind him, he's got the faster cars, I should say, coming from behind him, that being the leader, Joseph Willows, who will be catching him any moment now, and here he is. Willows is right behind Mocho, so he is going to go past him pretty soon, and he'll go past him right now. I'm amazed Mocho's managed to go for so long with his engine failure, but I think, has he given up the ghost there? I think he's going pretty slowly. Yep, I think that might be it, and yep, there we go. Michael Mocho is out, and he's going to pull off to the side of the track, just coming in to the baseball stadium. So his race is over, although his car's leaking onto the racing line. That's not good. As Oliver Glazebrook's going to come around the corner. Oh no! And Glazebrook gets damage from the car. Absolute disaster from Glazebrook, who'd made such a good start. And unfortunately, Michael Mocho has well and truly screwed him over there. He will be fuming that that's happened to him. Very unlucky for Glazebrook. And Mocho's car, who's still stranded in the middle of the road, and now all the rest of the cars are coming by him. Oh my goodness me, nearly getting hit by the Red Bull there. And Mocho's car still just very slowly just going across the middle of the road. Oh my god, please guys, don't hit him. Amazingly, he hasn't been hit. He's now got Roke going past him there. Now got a few other cars. Glazebrook obviously in the pits, and eventually Marshall is now going to finally come as it's safe and will push him away. So quite a dramatic retirement, I have to say. And unfortunately, as I said, he's screwed over Oliver Glazebrook quite badly there. And I don't think he'll be in his good books. And this ain't good for Mocho, because even though the failure wasn't his fault, the way he's retired and the way his car has gone on the circuit, well, it's not going to be good for him with regards to him getting a seat. Because of course he's not going to get a seat at Toro Rosso, that's for sure, because Enes Parachi has got the seat. So question is, where will Mocho go? That is the $1 million question, or the million pesos question. So So here was Gal and Jan, who were in a battle for ninth position, obviously seeing Mocho's car in the middle of the road, and Gal just happened to go through there going to the right, whereas Jan went to the left, and there was Moichin and the Toro Rosso there just about avoiding it. That was so close. Now here is Gal on the back once again of Rick Jan in the pink Mercedes, now coming on to the front straight, and I imagine Gal, because the straight is so long, he'll get in the slipstream and he'll make the move. And we've got a car off, and that's Etienne Jones, who's off the circuit. That's coming through the S's, and I don't know if that was a crash or not. No, it wasn't. It was a mechanical failure. So Etienne Jones out of this race, and that's very unfortunate for him. He was running at 14th. He made a decent start, but unfortunately for him, his race over with a mechanical issue. And there it was, right there, just coming to the end of the straight, and with him having Evan Byrne and his teammate Zorbach behind him. That Jones' teammate, that is. Now here is Gal once again on the back of Jan. He didn't make it on the back straight. Now on the second straight, will he make it here? He's going to go for it, and in going for it, he punts Jan and spins himself right in front of Tomaselli. And somehow, I don't think Tomaselli got any damage from that, did he? I don't believe he did. And Gal, as he comes onto the track, almost takes out the Toro Rosso in the process, as there's Roland Moichin trying to go past him, coming through the double right-hander before the S's. So Tomaselli did get damage, actually. He did get damage, so I thought he got away with it because there was a small impact, but unfortunately not. And Gal tried a move that, unfortunately, I don't really think was on, to be honest. And Gal coming through there, you can see, just not quite on. I mean, Jan moved in front of him, but in these wet conditions, it's always going to be a bit more tricky to make moves. So this was on board from Tomaselli, who himself had also made a good start, was in the points. But unfortunately, that's all been ruined by something not of his own making, just in the wrong place at exactly the wrong time. And Jan keeps position, and this was Gal rejoining right where Franco Gab was. There was a tiny bit of contact. He almost catches his wheel there. Now here is Felix Sontag into the pits, and he was on actually quite a light amount of fuel, and I think he's going to the extreme wets. I believe he is, yes. So on the darker tyre, but he's already a lap down, so fortunately that's doing no good for him. Here's Roke on the back of Roland Moichin in the Williams there. As we look at Tomaselli going a little bit wide there, almost catching Franco Gamba out, but he gets past him as Sontag goes into the pit. Tomaselli goes to the pit, sorry. And so as Franco Gamba comes across the line up into 9th, Moichin 10th, with Roke right behind him in 11th. At the moment, still the battle going off for second. Neller holding his own ahead of Mackenzie, with the McLaren of, I believe that is Glazebrook behind, and I bet he wishes he was in 4th position, but of course he isn't, due to the fact that, as I said, he got screwed over by Michael Mocho, so that's very unfortunate for Oliver Glazebrook. And now out of the pits comes Nicolas Gal, out of the pits comes Paolino Tomaselli, and as they come out of the pits, so Lopez will gain a couple of positions, so he's up to 16th position, P15 actually, I believe. And now he comes out of the pits, does Tomaselli. Gal coming out as well, and Willows is going to lap Gal, I believe, as Neller comes through the final corner, and Mackenzie coming through the final corner into the pits. So let's see, will they, I imagine it looks like everyone's going onto the extreme wet tyres, so I think it's going to be the same for Mackenzie as well, as he comes into the pits, changes all 4 tyres, in he comes, tyres off, new tyres on. I imagine it's the extreme wets, and yes it is, although it doesn't appear to be raining much on his camera, but obviously the drivers feel it's wet enough. Well, it is raining a bit there, but not quite as much. It doesn't appear to be too cloudy out there, but as I said, it's going to be wet the whole race, so it's not going to change, as Julius Anderson comes into the pits for Williams. Now Anderson, who had a pretty good performance last time out at the US Grand Prix. I mean, he finished, I believe it was P5 in the end, having been on a one-stop, which he always seems to do. He always seems to do well on seemingly the bad strategies, but once again he performed very well. And he was actually running in 3rd, but of course Mackenzie was on fresher tyres and overtook him, and Michael Mocho was as well, so he overtook him as well before the end. So it was unfortunate, but Anderson put in yet another great performance. He's the best, I guess you could say the best of the rest, ahead of, well, behind obviously the top teams, Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari, as we're looking at him just coming out in front of Roke here, unless Roke's going to go past him in towards the first corner. Roke's on the inside, and Roke will pass Anderson, but I imagine Anderson will probably go right back past Roke very quickly the fact he'll be on the fresh tyres and just needs a little bit of time to get used to them. But Roke now back up into the points. Here's Moitin on the back of Franco Gamma heading towards the next corner. Is he going to make a move? He's going to go for it. That's a very late move, but I think he might have done it. Has he? No, not quite. He's not quite done it there. And as he heads towards the double right hander, can't. And now he has actually. No, what the run he got off the corner there. I really thought Franco Gamma had it covered. But Renault Moitin, fair play. A great move by him. And he makes it up into 8th position. So I thought he'd done it here on the left, into the left-hander. Made a great move, but then Franco Gamma had it, I thought, around the outside. But then Moitin just got the run on the outside line, which in the wet is generally can be the better line, because the normal line isn't always the greatest. But as we look at Florian Vulcan, but now we're looking at Miguel Scal, who's trying to go past Thierry now turning in the Renault, and he can't make it stick there, so he's stuck behind him. There's a big gaggle of cars in front of him as well, one including the Ferrari of Joseph Willows, who at the moment is absolutely streaking clear of the rest of the pack. And and Anderson goes into the back of George Roke there and does make it through, so he is back up into 10th position. Not the way I don't think Roke would have liked to have been overtaken, but Anderson just wanted to get it done, and yeah, just used him as the brake there and just slightly nudged him. A little hidden run there, and he makes it through back up into 10th position into the points. Now here was Gal once again trying on. Now Tiranen has contact, and Gal is around yet again. Oh dear me, it's turning into an absolute disaster for Nicolas Gal, stuck at the back and goes to the back of Renault and spins. That's a pretty bad start to the race. Here we are looking at Oliver Glazebrook and now Joseph Willows, who's so far clear of Will Neller, and Will Neller's only just coming around the final corner now. As we're looking through the rest of the order, here's Glazebrook trying to make a move on the manor in front of him. Tomaselli on the back of Lopez, as we're looking at Roberto Gamma coming onto the front straight. As Tomaselli all over the back of the Force India of Lopez. So we've got a yellow flag out. That's, I think, just before the S's. There's a car off, and it's Anderson who's off again. Well, I should say off again, but he's had contact with somebody, and it's Franco Gamba this time. He tried it on the inside. It was never really on, and he spins. Gamba keeps 9th position, although Roke is now going to be right behind him as well. Now here is Roke on the back of Franco Gamba as well, heading towards the S. Oh no, Roke just goes straight past him. Look at that. Goes past just like he wasn't there. A great move there by Roke, and now into the pits comes Joseph Willows, who's so far dominated this race from the start. Got a great start and just kept the lead. Ahead of Will Neller, who just doesn't have the pace it seems to keep up with him. But of course, Willows is in a championship fight, so of course he really wants it not to finish today. He wants it to go on to the next round after this, the penultimate round, which of course is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. As Willows comes into the pits, changes off 4 tyres, he's down to 2nd onto the extreme wets, and out he comes. And let's see where he comes out onto the circuit. He's down to 2nd behind Neller. Would he be behind? I think that is his teammate Florian Volker. And the answer is, I don't think Volker's come across the line. So Volker is actually very far behind. So Willows now comes on to the circuit, gets full power, and here he goes. And actually, I think, will he come out ahead of Volker? No, he doesn't. Volker is ahead, but I imagine he'll let him through, although Carr's there, and Carr might streak past because Willows hasn't got the speed, and Carr goes up into 3rd, and that will be for the time being, of course, because he'll get back past him, Willows, very easily. I mean, if he's dominated this much on the normal tyres, on the normal wet tyres, on the extreme wets, it'll probably be a different animal, different beast. And because that, he's already in the slipstream of armoured cars. We've got a yellow flag out, and what happened? I don't know where that was from. And it wasn't Miguel Scal again for about the 7th time this race. Once again trying on Altunen, and he fails yet again. And Miguel Scal, I don't know what he's doing. I really don't know what he's doing. He's just losing his mind. He's just sick and tired of the ties, and he can't get past him. As now Willows makes contact with the back of Carr and spins, and that's great news for Will Neller as the Mercedes Mackenzie then goes past. Willows rejoins and does hit the wall, but gets away without any damage. That's great news for Will Neller. That's exactly what he needed, and so this could give him a good advantage for the pits, although of course he's actually going a lot longer than what Willows did. So on second thoughts, depending on how heavy the rain gets, it might not, so we'll see. Still a few drivers are on the normal wet tyres, a few on the extreme wets, as we're looking at the Glazebrook trying it on Zorbach there, not being able to make it stick. as we look at the rest of the orders. So Neller leading, Volker second, Carr third, Mackenzie fourth, Willows fifth. That was Joel Hutter, I think, in sixth position. So far, good race from Joel Hutter. We haven't seen much of him so far. Jan in 7th, Moich in 8th, Roke in 9th, and Anderson in 10th. Now here is Mackenzie on the back of Armar Carr, heading towards the first corner. It's a long run to it. He's going to be in the slipstream, and he'll get past very easily. Goes alongside the Red Bull, just going alongside now. He's going to absolutely steamroll past. I imagine he'll have the move done into the corner, and the answer is yes, he does. So Mackenzie up into 3rd position. That's good news for him. As I said, so far it's looking pretty good for Neller and Mercedes. Of course, I don't think at the moment, actually at the moment, I don't believe Neller would win the title because Mackenzie is still running in the top 5. So at the moment it would still go to Abu Dhabi, but let's not talk about that yet. Let's just talk about the battles going on throughout the field. Here's Zorbach, who's once again struggling to get past that pesky manner of Nicholas Zorbach. As here we are looking at Roke, there's Anderson who's closing up to the back of Roke once again. And of course, he's struggled to get past some cars so far, Anderson, really struggled, but he'll hope that 3rd time lucky maybe. He might get a bit of luck, as here we are looking at Glazebrook coming on to the front straight. He's not quite close enough to Zorbach. He's way behind in the slipstream there. As we're looking at Mackenzie battling with the Ferrari here of Volker, and he trying to go around the outside coming into the baseball stadium, and that was never going to work. And oh my word, and now they've got of course the Red Bull of Carr, who's still hanging about there. He's not too far behind. As we're looking at Mackenzie all over the back of Volker, almost pushing him through the final corner, and now on to the front straight, and he's going to have the slipstream in towards turn 1. I think he's just about in it, as the speedometer is going up pretty quickly. And I imagine Mackenzie's going to make the move for 2nd place into the first corner. He's in the slipstream, and he's going to surely go alongside the Ferrari. Look at the speed, 326 kilometers an hour. Volker does put up a defense, but it's a bit too late. Mackenzie through on the inside, and he moves up into 2nd place. A great move there by the Polish/Canadian driver, but of course in North America he's racing under the Canadian nationality, having dual nationality. As you can see, Volker did put up a defense, but as I said, it was too late, and Mackenzie made it through. As we're looking at George Roke coming out of the pits for Haas, and he comes out in I believe 50th position if he has enough speed to stay ahead of Lopez. So Mackenzie is still way off his teammate Neller, and of course both Neller and Mackenzie have a long way to go before they pit. Now here is Zorbach still defending, as he has been for the last few laps, from Glazebrook, who still just can't get past the manor. As we look at the two drivers heading towards the end of the first set, they're heading into the double right-hander before the S is of course altered from the old layout. So we are looking at Willows now finally making a move past Armar Carr into the first corner. He's on the inside, and he does make it stick, so up into P4 for Joseph Willows. So that's good news for him, not good news for Will Neller, but he makes it up into that position. Now here is Willows, who's already onto the back of Florian Volker. So right now at this moment in time, Will Neller is not going to win the title. It will go to Abu Dhabi, but Willows in the slipstream of his teammate Volker, who won't put up much of a defence, and Willows going on the inside of Volker. Volker who does, I think, have a very slim chance of winning the title, but I'm not sure after today's result, if things are going the way they are, that he will be able to stay in the title fight. As Willows coming through, making the move as he heads towards turns 1, 2, through into turn 3, and now heading towards turn 4, the end of the second straight. So Mackenzie, so once again second, Neller just a little bit ahead, and Cal once again in his favourite position of 18th. Now here we are looking at a Williams battle. This is Julius Anderson, the Swede, versus Radomoitin, the Hungarian. Heat versus snow as they come towards the first corner. Anderson on the inside of Moitin, and Moitin didn't really put up much of a defence, and he's through on the inside is Anderson, and will take Radomoitin for 9th position. So good move there by the Swede. So there we go. As we're looking at Glazebrook, who is still, after about 10 laps, still stuck behind that manor of Nicholas Zorbach as they head towards turn 1, and he's not quite alongside, he's not quite got the speed. The manor seemingly actually has a straight line speed. Glazebrook tries to go on the slipstream to get alongside, fails again. Glazebrook goes in the slipstream, but the corner is now here. Now as they head through turn 1, Glazebrook will stick behind, now into turn 2, now through into turn 3. Now this is a good chance for Glazebrook because he's in the slipstream as he heads towards the Zorbak. Actually didn't get a good run off the corner, so as they head towards turn 4, Glazebrook might have the run around the outside as they've got the Sauber there of Tomaselli, who might make a move through as well. And Tomaselli, has he overtaken Glazebrook there? The answer is yes, he has. So after all those laps, Glazebrook still cannot get past Zorbak, and now he's been passed by Paolino Tomaselli, and now for Glazebrook, he's even got his fellow Brit George Roke behind him as well. Here we are. Look, you can see Tomaselli. You can see those two in front battling away, and Tomaselli was like, "Yeah, Glazebrook, you did check your mirrors, mate. I'm coming through." And Tomaselli does make it through, and I bet he'll overtake him on the front straight as we're looking at it now. This is actually the battle for the lead, so Mackenzie has actually gained a lot on Will Neller here. So this is a battle for the lead. Well, of course, Neller actually hasn't pitted yet. Mackenzie has, and so has Willows. So at the moment, Mackenzie would be the leader of this race. But now this is very interesting because both of these drivers, of course, are in a title fight. And well, the front three are in a title fight. So what do you do here? Do you just let them race, or what do you do? But Mackenzie clearly on the quicker tyre and is going to absolutely steamroll past Will Neller and will take the lead of this race. Or will he? No, Neller holding on the inside. He's going to take it back. Will Mackenzie have the run into the right-hander? No, he won't. Neller defending the position, so he is not going to take this one lying down. Mackenzie's got a few laps until he pits again, so I imagine he's going to be doing the 3-stop strategy here. As you can see, he's clearly quicker than Neller. And, well, Neller goes off, Mackenzie spins, and that's great news for Willows, who is going to take third position back, and he does. So, disaster for Mercedes there. Well, disaster for Mackenzie anyway. But Willows will take second place back, and he will now officially be he's now the unofficial leader of the race. Thanks to that collision, that's affected Mackenzie badly. He's lost a few positions there. He's dropped behind our car as well. And that was almost inevitable. You could just kind of sense that could possibly happen. And what do you know? It has. And that is terrible luck for the Mercedes there. And just they tried to move Mackenzie. That was never really on. He's paid the price. Now here is Roke on the back of Glazebrook, who, as I said, has still yet to get past Zorbak. Now here we go, as Roke is going to try and go past Zorbak. He's going to try to go past Glazebrook first, around the outside, fails there. Glazebrook, who's been stuck behind, as I said, for over 10 laps, still can't get through. Now here is Willows on the back of Neller. This is the battle for the lead. Willows clearly the quicker car, almost pushing him through the corner there, heading towards turn 4, now into turn 5, and Willows pushes almost Neller wide there, still can't make it through. Now into turn 6, and now into the turn 7, and we've got a car off, and it's Glazebrook, who is off once again, so he is still failed as Willows trying to make it on the inside of Neller. Has he finally done it? It's still just about side by side to the yes. Willows is through, is he? Yes! And he's through, and Willows now takes the official lead of the race. And wow, that was a fantastic battle, action going on throughout the field here, and the Mexican Grand Prix. Now Willows, you can see all over the back of Neller, went to the right, then swapped to the left, did the old dummy, and Willows on the fresher tyres on the extreme, it's clearly superior to Neller, and he finally does make it through up into the lead of this race. And so far for Willows, it's actually looking pretty good for him now. He's recovered exceptionally well. He's still the official leader despite that spin, and Mackenzie, who is well, I think it's now Volker will be officially second, and Mackenzie officially third, as long as he gets past Carr. But at the moment, chaos happening everywhere in the field. We've got another yellow flag out, and that's, I believe, it's the first corner, and Roke is out, and that was Zorbak off. Is he out as well? Roke is out for sure, and I think Zorbak is out, I believe, as well. Yeah, his car's in the wall, and he's not going, so I believe that is Zorbak's race over as well. So clearly a collision has happened at the first corner here, and we need to find out what has happened between the two, as we saw, obviously, Terry now Tyrrell in the pits, and I think Mackenzie got past Carr as well, and yes, he has, so he's up into 4th position. Of course, Willows leading, got nearly a 5-second gap, and it was an accident, so it was a collision between the two. As I said, Willows leading Neller by nearly 5 seconds, and I imagine that gap is going to get a lot bigger. So here was Roke in the slipstream with Zorbak, heading towards the first corner, and Zorbak was moving around. Roke tried to get to the right. Oh my god, that's a huge accident there, and just going at that speed, well over 200 miles an hour in the wet, that was very scary indeed. I mean, Roke moved to the right to try and make the move, and then Zorbak moved to the right as well, but I mean, Roke was coming at about 400 miles an hour, and I don't think he was going to back out that one, but he couldn't really. And so I think that was a very unfortunate incident between the two, so I don't really think, well, I think that was a racing incident. I don't think you could blame one driver solely for that. I think they were both to blame. And unfortunately, they are both to blame because they're both out. So the incident between the two, Zorbak and Roke, under investigation. And Zorbak, the manor driver in the OC, has unfortunately been hit out there by Roke. Very unfortunate, but Zorbak, he's just not had the greatest OC career so far. And hold on a second, if the yellow flag was out, if Mackenzie's done the overtake here, and I think he has, I believe he may have done the overtake before the yellow flags, did he? Or where are the yellows? Was he in the zone? Just trying to look at the map on the bottom right hand corner. I believe Mackenzie may have gotten away with that. I think he may have made the overtake just before the yellow flag zone. I was just seeing actually on his dash there, so I think he made it stick, I believe, and yes he did, so no penalty there. Good work there by Mackenzie. Now Mackenzie on the back of Volker for P3. This is a battle for position, so he's going to be in the slipstream, as Will Neller actually is going to be pitting this lap for his first stop of the day, and I don't believe his only stop either, as we look at Mackenzie on the inside of Volker heading towards the first corner, side by side between the two, and Mackenzie surely is going to have this move sewn up, and yep, he does, through up into P3, and which will be P2 when Neller goes into the pits. As we're looking at Felix Sonntag right at the back of the field, now into the pits yet again. Joel Hutter into the pits as well for Haas, who's had a pretty solid race, a pretty quiet one, but a pretty solid race, and particularly when you're racing in these conditions, it's always good to have a quiet race, but also doing good at the same time, because of course that means you've not been involved in any collisions or anything like that. So anyway, Sonntag, who is in last position at this moment in time, I don't see him being able to get any points from this race, unfortunately, as we look at Joel Hutter coming into his pit. But of course for Sonntag it won't matter, because he knows that he'll be out of that car, the Sauber car, and he'll be in the Williams for next year, so I guess it's not too bad. He'll still have a seat for next season, so I suppose he'll be pretty happy. He won't particularly care that the results are not really going his way. Hutter pitting on, of course, onto another set of extreme wets. Roland Moitian in the Williams is coming into the pits. Rick Jan is in as well, as Jan had to wait for Moitian to come in there, as Jan very gingerly makes his way out of his pit box there. Moitian coming in as well, and oh my goodness me, am I reading that right? Is Roland Moitian going to the end of the race on those tyres? Surely that is not going to work. I really don't think that's going to work. Tomaselli coming in as well. That's obscene. 47 laps. Has that ever been done before? I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, unfortunately, the Williams team have well and truly done him over there. And, I mean, rest in peace. So, more chances of a good points finish at this point. Oh, look at all these cars in. Byrne, there's several cars in. All the cars just outside of the top 10 are in the pits. Byrne, Franco Gamba, Glazebrook and Gala all in the pits. I think they're now all going onto the extreme wets, but of course look at that, they're all going to the end, and I really don't see how that's going to work, because just on the extreme wets, and when wet tyres go off, they go off badly, but it's going to be fascinating to see how well these guys do. It looks like they're all going to the end, although it doesn't look like Glazebrook is. He's not going to the end, so I suppose that could benefit him, although he has to wait for a car to go by. I think he has to wait for Miklas Gau actually to go past as well, so not good for him. But for Glazebrook, I suppose he'll be struggling on these tyres, and of course Roberto Gamba's in the pits as well, and he is going to be badly affected by this. Oh dear me, oh my word. Roberto Gamba way down at the back of the field, as Almar Karzin focusing. Everyone is now in for, it looks like, the extreme wets. Some of them were still obviously on the standard wets. Now the extreme wets are the tyres to go on, but there's many of them I think still are, but I guess the tyres are just going off extremely badly. Car is going to the end. Roberto Gamba, he pits, and he won't be going to the end. So I'm interested to see, because both McLarens actually are not going to the end. There's a number of drivers that are, and I don't see how that works. Volker actually isn't going to the end either, so I think they're obviously trying to go for the long game, but surely the guys that are trying to go to the end, such as Carr, on these tyres, it's just not going to work. The tyres are going to be on, they're going to be racing on pretty much no wheels. They're going to be racing. It'll be like racing a trolley around on wheels with like pretty much no grip, just skating around the track everywhere. That's pretty much what it's going to be like, I think, with the feeling of the car. But and speaking of car, Amar Carr, obviously we're looking at the replay of him coming into the pits here, and the Red Bull team. Oh, the Red Bull team weren't ready for him. Oh well, of course they weren't particularly ready for him, because Gal, of course, had just coming to the pits on the same lap as well, because clearly the track has got a lot wetter than before. So unfortunately for Carl, he's been done over by his team, and so now he was delayed quite a bit in that stop. So there we go. Changes all 4 tyres, but of course loses a lot of time in the process. But as I said, that amount of time on this amount of fuel with those tyres, it's just never going to work, is it? This is really, really going to be interesting. I think all the guys that have not gone to the end on these the extreme wets, they're surely going to be the favourites, I guess. So I think the 2 McLarens, I think watch out for them, because they're not going to the end. Volker isn't going to the end either. So I haven't seen actually how much fuel Willows has got. So Mackenzie, the question is, does he go to the end? No, he doesn't. So this is looking better for Mackenzie. So that's good for him. I didn't actually see what I couldn't remember what Neller's fuel was. So I don't know if he's going to the end or not. I don't believe he is. Well, if he is, unfortunately, it's going to be a painful race for him, and it's not good, particularly if their team have put him on this strategy, because otherwise, then he has a chance, of course, to win here. But he's not going to win the title here at the moment. But of course, he has a chance to secure it properly and have a bit more security on his points lead for Abu Dhabi. Of course, that being the penultimate round of the season, with the final round, of course, being at Brazil. As we're looking at Volker coming out right behind Anderson. He's closing up to him, heading towards the first corner. Battle for 4th position here, it seems, as Anderson got a bad run, as there's a car in front of him as well. So Volker might make his way through. As you can see, look how wet it is now. The sky's dull, grey, and probably partly all some of it down to the pollution of Mexico. But as we look through, as Volker going by Anderson, is he? Yeah, Anderson. Is he going to try and get back at him? Oh, makes a little bit of contact, but no harm done, no damage done. So there we go. So as they come through turn 5 there, here we are looking at Carr in 6th position at this moment, going to the end. I mean, Willows actually is coming into the pits in a few laps as well. I think the Williams there was going to the end. Byrne is... There was a... I mean, just looking at all these cars, and the answer is no, actually. Will Neller isn't going to the end on these tyres, but he is going a long way on those tyres, but he won't be going to the end. No, he won't be. So... for Will Neller, it's favourable strategy for him, but at the moment, Joseph Willows, I'd say at the moment he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment, as we've got a yellow flag out once again. There's a car off somewhere, and it's Miklas Gau for about the 70th time this race. Miklas Gau has spun, and I imagine... Oh, and it's his favourite corner as well. And let's see what happened to him. And this was trying to get past the Force India of Franco Lopez, and he tried to make it on the inside again. I just don't think there was... I don't think you rarely ever see drivers making moves there anyway, and Miklas Gau was trying to make moves where you generally don't see moves being made. But there we go. So he loses another couple of positions as well. But back behind Tiranen, his favourite driver. Now Julius Anderson comes in, and the question is, does he go to the end? The answer is he doesn't. So that's, I think, good news for him. I said all the drivers that aren't going to the end, having pitted a few laps before, are favourable at the moment, because the track is clearly going to get wetter. And as we're looking, race control have concluded the incident between Zorbach and Roke to be a racing incident, which I think is fair enough. I don't think you could blame one driver solely for that. And the question is actually, I'd be interested to see, is Joseph Willows going to go to the end on these tyres or not? I think if he doesn't, then I think it's still favourable at the moment, because the gap between him and Neller is quite big. And no, he isn't. So I think that's a great strategy from Ferrari. Yet again, you wouldn't hear that normally in real life, but here Ferrari... well, it does tell you something, doesn't it? As Ferrari making yet again another strategy, good strategy for Williams. You can see, look how far he is ahead of Willows. So he's going to stay ahead of Neller after he comes out of the pit. So right now for Willows, it's looking pretty darn comfortable for him. 49 seconds, that is obscene. And wow, and he comes out just ahead of Franco Gambra in the Toro Rosso. As we're looking now, this is Miklas Gau, who's behind Oliver Glazebrook in the McLaren, and he's going to make a move on the inside. Oh, that was tight. Gau trying it on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? And I think he is. And finally, Gau does make a clean move, although it's not at his best corner. But finally, Gau does make it through past Glazebrook. Good move by him there. And he got it through where there didn't seem to be much of a gap, but he did make it through. Fair play to him. Actually, speaking of Gal, he isn't going to the end, and neither is Franco Lopez in front of him. I think I saw Byrne was. Franco Gamba I didn't see isn't, so Nello, of course, isn't either. He's going on a long stint, but crucially he will be pitting before the end, which of course is good for him. And, well, certainly good for his tyres as well. Mackenzie, I think Byrne 37. Yeah, Byrne, I don't think he is going to the end, I should say, so I don't think he's going to be pitting yet again. Of course, Gal isn't going to the end, neither is Lopez, so I think that's favourable for them. As they're coming through the final corner, and Gal surely is going to make the move past the Force India of Lopez. If he stays in the slipstream long enough, which I believe he does, and yep, Gal is surely going to make the move on the inside of Lopez into the first corner. And in the slipstream, and Gal's going to go to the inside as Lopez, does he try and move over a bit? Not quite. Is Gal going to make a lunge into the corner? Yes, he does. And Gal moves up into 13th position. Now he's going to go after the Irishman Evan Byrne in front of him. So here we go, as we're looking at Neller once again in P2 on his own really, and Mackenzie in P3. So at the moment, of course, Neller is not going to win the title here. But as we look at the gap, so the gap to Volker is 2 seconds, so it's pretty close. So the battle for P3 is on, and actually I'll be interested to see if Mackenzie can close up to the back of Neller. So he's of course pitting Mackenzie way before Neller is. So I mean, I think we could see a battle possibly for P2 even. I mean P1, I mean so someone called Willows is winning this race very comfortably, as we're looking at Gal, who goes past Byrne into turn 1 there very easily indeed, trying to recover positions. There's a big gaggle of cars here at the back of the field. There's Byrne, there's Lopez, there's Glazebrook, there's now Tiranen, a whole bunch of cars as they're coming on to the front straight here. Gap Willows to Neller is 33 seconds, but that is surely going to extend with Willows on the fresher tyres and Neller going on a very long stint. Now Glazebrook is behind the Force India of Franco Lopez here as they head towards the first corner. Glazebrook in the slipstream of Lopez, trying to make a move on the inside. He can't make a stick. Lopez launching it down the inside. Oh my word, an absolute dive bomb there, and didn't quite make a stick. Imagine if he made that mistake, that would have been unbelievable. If he was so far behind Byrne coming in towards turn 1 there, and he just launched it into the corner. I've never seen a dive bomb like that. Look at that. And I thought he had it done there, but didn't quite have the legs to make it through past Byrne there. But it was some, as I said, that was just some dive bomb really. And he's about the same gap as he was before, so I wonder if he'll try it again, although Glazebrook is much closer to him this time. Glazebrook is surely going to try and move into the first corner, but of course they've got Carr who's about to lap them behind, which they've got to be careful of. Glazebrook trying to sneak through on the inside, Lopez not really having any of it, and Glazebrook swaps back in the slipstream. He's going to try it again on the inside. Glazebrook on the inside of Lopez, and he makes a stick for P14. But now of course they've got Armand Carr behind who wants to lap them, so Carr is wanting the blue flag to be out to get out of the way, so Carr now laps the Force India of Lopez, and as they head towards turns 4 and 5, now Turner might try and move on Lopez possibly as he gains very close into turn 4, now to turn 5. Mackenzie right now, we're looking at him in P3, he's getting away from Volker in P4. The gap is down to 6 seconds, so Mackenzie definitely is closing on Will Neller here, so this could be an interesting battle incoming for P2 pretty soon, as we look at the Ferrari there lapping Franco Gamba. That is Florian Volker going past the Toro Rosso, heading in towards the baseball stadium, or used to be a baseball stadium, and he finally goes around the outside and makes it stick. Willows on his own out front, 36.5 seconds is the gap. Now Carr trying to lap Glazebrook here, he's going to go around the outside here, bit of a difficult place to lap cars, but he finally will make the move stick around there. As we look at Roberto Gamba coming in to the stadium as well, he's down in 17th position, he is way at the back. He pretty much actually is in last. He is in last position at this point in time, and actually no, he's not, he's second to last, but he will be last now because he's got a problem and he's just gone past the pits. And oh dear, for Roberto Gamba, that is terrible news for him, and he's going to have to go around a whole lap with that problem. And I believe, is that an engine in the back? I can't tell. I think it could be, I'm not sure, but I believe this could be the end of Roberto Gamba's race possibly. But as I looking at the front, Willow's got a lead over Neller in second, and yet Roberto Gamba, his race is over, and that is his race done and dusted. So there we go. So the marshal now coming to push his car away, and yep, there we go. Roberto Gamba out of this race for McLaren. Been a disaster from start to finish, and of course, well, he won't be finishing. And I say he won't be finishing, he'll be finishing, but yeah, not on track. So he'll be getting the next flight over across to the Middle East, to Abu Dhabi, where at least the weather will be nice and hot for him to relax in, to get this out of his system. Now, speaking of McLaren, here is Glazebrook, who is set to try and go past Byrne round the outside, is he? Coming into the baseball stadium, is that going to work? And the answer is yes, it is. And he makes it through up into P13. And there we go. I mean, Byrne, obviously, I think he's one of the ones that is going to the end, so he is really, really struggling on his tyres right now. As we see the move once again, Byrne just tiddling around there. He's just really struggling, and yeah, as I said, he will be going to the end. So, oh dear. The gap up front, Willows, is once again just extending it bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. And of course, Neller down to 42 seconds. We're looking at Gal, who is slowly but surely carving his way back through the field. He's now about to go past Franco Gamba in the Toro Rosso. This is for 11th position. And he goes through on the inside. He should have got the move done into turn 1, and he makes it stick. As we saw Carl there right now, running his own P5. Now, as we're looking at now Tyrrell, who is battling with the Force India of Franco Lopez, and gives him a little tap. And oh my word, Lopez nearly went into the back of the car in front there. That was very, very close indeed. I wonder if they'll show a replay of that, or maybe not. As we're looking at Willis, who's going past Joel Hutter there, who's in 6th position. So as Hutter does try and get back there at Willis, but that doesn't work. But so far, Willis already lapping the top 6, and we've still got over 20 laps to go. So that just proves how much Willis has dominated. And now Tiernan has once again made yet another move, and this time it's on his teammate Evan Byrne, who of course is on the 1 stop, whereas actually now Tiernan isn't. And look at that dive bomb. Although I suppose you could say it's easy because Byrne's on very old tyres, and I suppose you could say in a way it's team orders because Byrne just let him through there. Now Tiernan's, I imagine that's pretty easy. Now here is a battle for P6. This is between Joel Hutter and Julius Anderson as they head towards the first corner. Anderson in the slipstream of Hutter, and surely he'll make the move on the inside, heading towards the first corner. And Hutter does move over a little bit, but Anderson has got the slipstream and is set to make the move for P6, and he does indeed. So pretty easy, done and dusted there for Julius Anderson. Makes it up into P6. Now as you look at now turning just up in front, the two Force Indias in the lower reach to the points, 7th and 8th. Sontag right now running in a very lonely last position, and he's about to go into the pits this lap, which he will. But unfortunately for Sontag, not a good race for him once again. Just he's you could say, I mean, I don't know if you could say he doesn't deserve the Williams seat, but I think I guess nostalgia, I guess. But I suppose he's not a bad driver, Sontag. It's just, I mean, he has had a bit of bad luck, and Thomas said he has generally performed quite well this season, but I'm just quite glad that Sontag will still be on the grid for next year. So as we look at him coming into the pits, of course, I imagine this will be Sontag's final stop actually. We'll find out as he comes in. So will this be his final stop? And the answer is, looking at his fuel, the answer is yes, it will be. So he'll be on fresh tyres until the end. So I mean, he'll make up a fair bit of ground. As now into the pits comes Franco Lopez, and he changes all 4 tyres. And let's see, will he go to the end? Yes, he will. And you can see actually the battle for P3 is on, and it could, and as we're looking at the Ferrari of Florian Volker, who's coming in the pits, and of course Mackenzie is closing up to the back of his teammate Neller. So I think Ferrari may have spotted an opportunity here to get Volker ahead of both Mackenzie and of Will Neller. Of course, Neller, who's going still quite a lot into the race, probably into the 3rd quarter of the race before he pits. So pitting probably about like 10 laps to go, I think. But Volker comes in, he'll of course go to the end. I mean, the sky's looking a little bit, well, it looks doesn't look quite as dark there on the front straight. It never has done, but of course around the rest of the lap it's generally pretty grey. But Volker going to the end, of course. And again, I once again do want to spare a thought to the drivers who are doing a 1-stop on the end and have been on those tyres for at least the last 20 laps or so. So Mackenzie now on the back of Will Neller, and he will be pitting this lap for the final time, whereas Neller will be going a few laps more. And I don't really think that's going to work out for Neller, and that's not good for him as well, because finishing behind Willows would be a good result for Neller, because he can just about secure the title in Abu Dhabi, because at this moment in time he's not going to secure it here, because Willows has put in a dominant performance. Actually, speaking of Willows, he's pitting this lap as well, actually, funnily enough. So just to compound, I guess, Neller's misery, because Willows is probably coming out of the pit exit right now. But as we're looking in, Mackenzie's going to try and make a move, possibly on Neller here. Oh, there's contact between the two Mercedes. It was bound to happen. And Neller just all over the place. And they're holding each other up, Mercedes. They're just really not helping themselves. Of course, Mackenzie will be going to the pits because Neller wants to try and keep the position. But this is also handing the initiative to Florian Volker, who's just pitted as well. So Mackenzie's going to be absolutely furious if Volker does get out in front of him. And oh my word, so Mackenzie does come into the pits, and so now here he comes. And I don't believe, actually, I don't know, will Volker actually come out ahead of him? I don't believe he will. I mean, the gap was quite a few seconds, but Mackenzie was held up quite severely, so I think this could be close. So here we go. Mackenzie now coming into the pits for Mercedes for the final time. Change all 4 tyres. And of course we'll go to the end of this race. So there we go, there's all the fuel in, tyres on, as we've got a yellow flag out once again. And who is off this time? It is Glazebrook who's off, and Oliver Glazebrook is out of the Mexican Grand Prix. Have been a terrible weekend yet again for McLaren, and it looks like, I mean, is that a crash? We'll find out as the marshal pushes him away. And the answer is no, it was a mechanical failure, a transmission failure. So get the old McHonda jokes out again. But yep, a transmission failure for Glazebrook, who was running in 30th. I guess he probably still had a chance of points, actually, because he was one of the drivers who actually wasn't going to the end. So he could have been doing quite well on fresh tyres. Mackenzie actually does come out ahead of Volker. It was very close. I did mention it, as Mackenzie trying to defend from Volker into the first corner, and he just about gets ahead. Look how close that was. And that escapade that he had with Will Neller very nearly cost Jamie Mackenzie dearly. That was unbelievably close. As we can see, obviously, Joseph Willis in the pits just coming out, and he said he could even lap the entire field. He could do like a Hamilton-esque. It's almost like a Hamilton-esque performance. This one in the wet by Joseph Willis at this moment in time. My word. But as I said, crucially for Mackenzie, he does get out ahead of Volker. That's very important for him in regards to the title race. And as we look at Joel Hatter right behind Rick Yan coming through the final corner, he's surely going to get through on the fresher tyres going to the end. And the slipstream of Yan, he's surely going to get through. He's also got lap traffic behind. You can see he did have the blue dash on his counter, although that has just disappeared. As now Hatter in the slipstream of Rick Yan coming on to the front straight, and side by side between the two, and Yan on the outside, and Hatter surely is going to have this move done into the first corner, and yep, he does. Moving up into 7th place is the Haas of Joel Hatter, wanting to prove why he should have a seat when next season. As actually we're looking at Mick Lascaux, who is just overtaking Tomaselli for 9th position, but he is actually going to be pitting this lap, and actually so is Tomaselli. So this is a legitimate battle for position, as we've got yet another yellow flag out on the circuit. Who for this time? It's Franco Gamba who's out, and Franco Gamba is out of the race, and that is, I think, just coming into the baseball stadium, I believe. And yes, it is. He was one of the drivers that actually was going to pit before the end, and unfortunately his car said nope, I've had enough. You can see it, he wants to eventually, it's the front left, you can see it just hanging up a little bit there, so that is the one causing his retirement there. So unfortunately Frank Gamma, he knocked the wrong wheel off, it needs to be the left one. But we're looking at Mick Lascaux coming into the pits this lap, having just passed Tomaselli for position, so it looks like Gal will still get some points on the board, which I think he'll probably take, considering how dreadful his race has been, I have to say. So at the moment, we look at the gap. So Willer's leading ahead of Neller by 34. Mackenzie 24 seconds behind. But of course, Neller is still pitting before the end of this race. So this could be very interesting to see actually where Neller comes out. But well, he's probably going to come up behind Mackenzie, and I think probably even behind Volker as well. As we look at Gal and Tomaselli into the pits for the final time, and they change all 4 tyres, and Gal of course will be out in front. And there we go. So as they come across the track, so Gal still ahead of Tomaselli in the stops. So it looks like Gal will still get some points out of this race. Moichin is going to the end, but I think if he's going to the end, but with Gal on fresher tyres, I think he's going to get past him pretty easy at this moment in time. Although Moichin is in the battle for 8th position, as now we're looking at Will Neller coming in for his final stop of the race. So I believe he'll come out behind Mackenzie, and possibly behind Volker, but he'll certainly come out behind Mackenzie, that's for sure. So into the pits he comes. He'll change all 4 tyres. He'll be on the freshest tyres out of the top 4 towards the end of the race. So that will be the one thing that will give him the advantage. And yeah, Mackenzie's already... wow, Mackenzie Volker already passed. That actually was quite a lot more than I thought. But I suppose he was on very old tyres, was Will Neller. So he might have his work cut out, actually, to get 2nd place here. Well, certainly even 3rd, even. Because Mackenzie seems to have the edge over Volker. The gap's up to 5 seconds. So I wonder if Neller could still catch up to Volker or not. I think he will catch up, but I don't think he'll have enough time to overtake him. As we look at Lopez going past Evan Byrne there for 13th position. Byrne, of course, one of the drivers going to the end and being screwed over by his team by that terrible strategy. But at the moment, Joseph Willows steamrolling clear out front as he laps Roland Moichin, I believe, actually, for the 2nd time. Goes past him there. Moichin right now running in 10th, but he's going to be under pressure from... as you know, Gal's already got past him, actually, as a matter of fact, so never mind about that. Gal already up to 9th. Moichin's in 10th, and he's probably going to drop behind Tomaselli as well, who is on the 3 stoppers. We're looking at Moichin, who is unlapping himself there past Willows. He's not going to be happy about that, but of course Willows is comfortable out front, but he doesn't need this nonsense. And now here is Tomaselli all over the back of Moichin, and I think he's just going to go past him easily. Look at that. Moichin just costing himself 10th position right there, as Tomaselli takes 10th right off him, like stealing candy from a baby, that was. And so he moves up into 10th position. Carr is still running in 5th at this moment in time on that one stop, but I don't know how he's holding the car together. The next car behind him, I think, was Joel Hutter, I think, in 6th. I didn't see if he needed to pit again or not. Anderson has gone to the end. As we look at Volker, who's trying to go past the Renault here, around the outside into the baseball stadium. That's good news. And Neller, what is the gap? Neller is about 15 seconds, or about 14. I don't know if Neller will be able to catch up in time or not. I'm not sure. He's going to be the fastest car in the top 4 at this moment in time. It's going to be interesting to see, though, as we look at Gal, who is going to try and make a move. I think he's going to get Rick Yan, I would say, in a couple of laps' time, because he's on fresh tyres. As we look at Neller, who's going to go past Rick Yan, but he needs to get past him quickly, because if he wants to have any chance of getting Florian Volker for P3, and that will be good for him in the championship. But of course, Williams will need Volker to do him a favour here. So Anderson is 7th, Hutter in 6th, who I believe is going to the end. So I wonder if Anderson will class up to Hutter before the end or not. As we look at Gal, who is closing up to the back of Rick Yan. He can see him in his sights, as Yan has obviously just been lapped by the Mercedes there. Willows, look at the gap, 60 seconds. The gap Willows is up front, a minute ahead of everyone else. That is just insane. An unbelievable performance by Joseph Willows. As we look once again at Miklas Gal, who is really closing up to the back of Yan for P9 here. Tomaselli's left him in his dust. So Tomaselli so far once again performing very well in this race. So we look at Gal, look how much he's closing up to the back of the car in front. Is Miklas Gal of Rick Yan in front. The amount of speed he's got in that car on fresh tyres is obscene, but he's coming into his favourite corner. But I think he'll just go past him pretty... Oh, no, he won't, actually. Yan puts up a defence there. I thought Gal was about to go easily around the outside, but Yan was like, no, I'm not letting you go through that easy, pal. But it's pretty much pointless, because Gal's just going to go past him on the next straight before the baseball stadium. So as we come through the S's, and Gal sure is just going to go through very easily. And look at that, just there we go. As I said, like stealing candy from a baby. And Gal moves up into P8. So, whew, that was pretty easy. So, I wonder what the gap is actually. Gal to Julius Anderson in 7th position. I don't know if he'll catch up to Anderson or not. I need to see the gap next time around. But actually, I need to get away from Willows, who of course is still on pretty good... whose tyres are still in pretty good condition at this moment in time. As here we are looking at the 2 Renaults. Now Tiernan going past his teammate Byrne, struggling very much going to the end on those tyres as Neller goes past one Renault. Is he going to launch past the other? No, he doesn't. Although the Renault of Byrne, oh my goodness, just imagine if Byrne had taken out Neller there. My God, he would feel the wrath of Will Neller. as here we are looking at Paolino Tomaselli, who's on the back of Rick Jan, who of course struggling on those tyres. Tomaselli on fresher ones goes easily past the Force India there, heading towards the first corner, although Jan I think might try and attack him back. He's going to be in the slipstream still, so he might try and get the position back, as Jan's going to try and go to the inside of Tomaselli, and I think he might get ninth back for next few corners, as Jan does take ninth back, but then Tomaselli will just go back past him on the next straight because he's got much fresher tyres, and Jan of course is struggling to go around. So Gal obviously at the moment still in 8th place, as Tomaselli is going to go past Jan just like that. So Jan's not really going to be able to overtake him unless he does, unless he cuts turn 5, which he could do, but of course he's not going to do that. But as we look at Anderson, who's definitely closing up to Joel Hutter for 6th place, we could see another battle on in the lower reaches of the points. Cars still going around on that ones have been still in 5th place, but it's not going to be for long, because look at that, Hutter's right behind him. Car's tyres must be, as I said, it must be like trolley tyres, because he's got no grip in them whatsoever. Hutter's going to go by very easily, and so is Anderson. And Anderson of course is battling Hutter as well for 6th position, which will be 5th, because Car's never going to hold them for very long. So as we look at Joel Hutter, who is going to surely go past Amar Carr here, he's going to go around the outside. Has he got the move done? And the answer is, unless Carr holds it around the inside, still side by side, but nope, Hutter's got the run, and he takes 5th position off of Amar Carr. And Anderson trying to get past Carr as well, can't make it through here, but he'll get through on the front straight, and then Carr will go in the slipstream and then overtake him back, and then Anderson of course will get it for sure, I think, if that's how it's gone with a few overtakes so far. But as we look at Anderson coming through the final corner, surely he's going to go by Carr, so it's very easy. Like I said, it's going to be exactly how I think it's going to go. So in the slipstream, Anderson going to go past Carr like he's not there. So he goes past him, there we go. And unfortunately he's not actually very far past Carr, but of course he'll be in the slipstream, will Carr, but will he be in the slipstream enough to stay to make a move back? I don't believe he is. I think his tyres are just that dead, and yes, he actually doesn't. So Anderson has got P6 secure, and now he can go after Joel Hutter for 5th position. So this is a legitimate battle for the top 5, and so far Anderson having a great race, so is Hutter, and all contact there, and Anderson is through. I don't think that's the way Hutter would have liked that to end, but Anderson moves again into yet another top 5 position past the Swiss driver. And Hutter, who as I said has had one top 5 finish, having finished in 5th position in Spain, having passed Jay McKenzie in the Mercedes with a few laps to go. As now here we are looking at now Tyrrell, who's on the back of Roland Moitin. This is the battle for P12, I believe, as they come on to the front straight. Now Tyrrell in the slipstream of the Williams, as he's now going to try and make a move on the inside. Oh no, he won't, because the Red Bull there is going past them both. That is Miklas Gau in 8th position, going past these two drivers, although now Tyrrell's going to try and sneak past Moitin, which he does, and he might try and unlap himself past Gau, will he? No, he doesn't. And we're on the final lap now, because of course there is Joseph Willows, your race leader. As I said, what an unbelievable, oh my my word, oh my goodness, that was sketchy. I was about to the commentator's curse was about to come real there, but Joseph Willows, that was just so sketchy. But anyway, Joseph Willows does get past the Williams of Moitin there, and I mean, what could you say? What an unbelievable performance from Joseph Willows. 66 seconds, that's a minute and 6 seconds ahead of Mackenzie Volker, way behind in 3rd. Neller in 4th, who actually has closed on Volker, but I don't think he's going to have time to get over the end. I don't know, but my word. But at this moment in time, you can see Gal, good recovery in 8th position, but Willows, let's not beat around the bush. This is probably one of the best performances I've seen from him. Just absolute dominance from start to finish. And of course, he really didn't want the title being won by Will Neller today, and it won't be won by Will Neller today. It will go to the next round in Abu Dhabi. I'm pretty sure most OC titles have been won in the last round. Let's hope this one does as well, because it has been a thrilling season. But Joseph Willows, after last week in the USA, after the bad luck he had, and with Will Neller winning, he needed this so badly. So he comes around the final corner for the 71st and final time onto the front straight, and Joseph Willows is going to win the Mexican Grand Prix and keep the title fight going into Abu Dhabi. What a race from the Brit there, and a very long one as well. 1:51, 1 hour and 51 minutes that was. That was a ridiculously long race. Roland Moitin in 13th position, and Paolino Tomaselli will take 9th. A very impressive performance once again from the Italian driver, as he comes round and set to come across the line for 2 points. As there we go, 2 points for the Italian. Felix Sontag, again, a race to forget for him. He'll come across the line in 14th position. So there we go, coming through the baseball stadium for the final time. Definitely one of the most unique parts of this track as he comes round the final corner, and now set to come across the line. But the gap Willers to Mackenzie was 65 in the end, but said that's just ridiculously insane. Willers lapping all the cars apart from the top 4. Julius Hansen, yet again another very impressive performance by the Swede for Williams. He takes yet another top 5 for Williams, a good result from him. Joel Hutter, 6th position. He would have liked top 5, but 6th for him is a very good result indeed. Mackenzie, 2nd position. He keeps his title hopes alive going into Abu Dhabi. Rick Yan, 10th position. Not the race he would have wanted, but of course, struggling on those tyres at the end, it was almost inevitable. It was going to happen as he comes across the line. He'll take the last points position on the board. Evan Byrne, same with him, 15th. Florian Volker, 3rd. I believe he keeps his title hopes alive, I think. As Miklas Gau is actually up to 7th. Miklas Gau is 7th. So Miklas Gau has caught Amar Kar and has passed him on the last lap. And wow, I saw the gap actually on the graphic. Gau was 8 seconds behind on the last lap, and as the car's tyres are so badly worn, and Gau on fresher tyres just goes past him there. As here it was, naturally, did he go around the outside there? He got overtaken by the Force India, did Car, who unlapped himself. I believe that was, possibly, I think that might have been Rick Yan actually, I believe. And yeah, Gau just goes past very easily, of course, Car, who's struggling there, and Car, makes contact with the Renault as well and nearly spins him. Oh my goodness me. What a dramatic end to this race, and he still can't get past, as now Turin, I think, just passes Car there across the line, and there we are, race over. Whew. What an ending to this race. I said, unbelievable race this has been. Joseph Willers again your winner, but let's take a look at the full results, drivers and constructor standings. So Joseph Willers winning the race ahead of Jamie Mackenzie in 2nd, Florian Volker 3rd, Will Neller in 4th, Julius Hansen 5th, Joel Hutter 6th, Miklas Gau 7th, Amar Kar 8th, Palino Tomaselli 9th, and Rick Yan complete the points in 10th. Franco Lopez just missing out on the points in 11th position. Joseph Willers, of course, setting the fastest lap as well, a 1:27.281, so total domination by the Ferrari driver today. Thierry Turner finishing 12th, Roland Morton 13th, Felix Sontag 14th, and Evan Byrne in 15th position, with Franco Gamba, Oliver Glazebrook, Roberto Gamba, George Roque, Nicolas Sorbach, Etienne Jones, and Michael Mocho all not finishing this race. So there we go. Now let's take a look at the driver standings after Mexico. So Neller leading, but the gap to Willers is just 23 points. So Neller is in prime position to secure the championship in Abu Dhabi. Jamie Mackenzie in 3rd, dropping down behind Willers thanks to that win. Florian Volker is, I think, just about still in title contention, but he needs a miracle to stay in after Abu Dhabi. Amar Kar is now out of title contention in 5th as we look at the rest of the order. Joel Hutter moving all the way up to 13th from 17th position with that top 6 finish, so well done to him as we look at the rest of the order. There's Glazebrook, Tomaselli moving on the same points as Glazebrook, Jones, Sontag, Pasquet, and of course 23rd and last is Nicolas Sorbach, who unfortunately had yet another retirement from this race. So there we go. Now we'll take a look at the constructors standings after Mexico, and the driver and the team still leading that, of course, is Mercedes, but look at the gap. It is very narrow to Ferrari. That battle is going to surely go all the way down to Brazil. Red Bull in 3rd. I don't think they can recover in the last 2 races. Force India Williams, a good battle for 4th brewing there. Toro Rosso in 6th, Renault 7th, Haas moving above McLaren into 8th, Sauber in 10th, and Manor last position with 11 points. So there we go. That was the Mexican Grand Prix, and a fantastic race, I have to say, for Mexico, as it usually is. Don't forget, as usual, guys, vote for your driver today and give the race a rating out of 10. And we'll see you for the next round, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where Will Neller could take his first and only championship win. And we'll see you next time in Abu Dhabi to find out.